So you know I'm standing in an exquisite garden, and it is not often that at Garden Time we get to take you into private gardens. However, this is one of the wonderful gardens on the ANLD tour, and I am here with Mr. Thornburg. How are you, Phil?
I'm great. How about you?
I'm good, and I have to say that, I do see a lot of gardens, and this is quite exquisite. So first of all, tell me what it is that you do for a living that got you into horticulture, and then how did you come up with this beautiful place?
Well, thank you for asking. It's been about 13 years that we've lived here, and I've had a business called Winterbloom for 31 years. And we perform landscape design, installation, and gardening services for residential situations.
Yeah.
And in this case, we did it for our place.
You've really only 13 years? That's
13 years here, yes.
Oh my goodness, the garden looks like it's been here much longer.
Oh, thank you, thank you. Some of the trees have, that tree was here when we first came here. Otherwise, we actually took everything out.
Yeah.
We took it down to dirt and started over again. And we had a design, and I told my wife, Barb, that it would be 10 years before we would be able to install it. And it took a little longer than that, since we're on year 12 now, actually 13, I think. And so we've slowly been putting parts in. For example, right here, the water came down the driveway and flooded here, but we installed this little drain here to go to a dry well where we have this piece of art.
Beautiful, beautifully appointed. And this area is stunning, I have to say, but right down this path is even more of what I just thought was a little bit of paradise. So let's take a walk down there and go to the back garden, shall we?
Super.
So Phil, we walked down an absolutely beautiful path, and it seemed like with every step I took, I kept seeing something else, a plant, a setting, a combination that would just intrigue my eyes. But the gate we came through, tell me about that. That was stunning.
Well, Barb and I had wanted to have a gate there, but we knew that if we got the gate that we wanted, it would cost money, and we would have to have just the right artist to be able to create the feel. We didn't want any square parts to it.
Yeah.
We wanted it to be whimsical, and I hadn't thought of it being somewhat medieval, but it has that kind of feeling. And I wanted it to include the different plants, and particularly our logo, the cyclamen.
Yeah.
And so it has that in the lower left-hand corner.
It's absolutely perfect. Now, we are back here in this delightful space, and when you look at it, you think, well, that should be out in the country, but I can hear schools, I can hear car horns, so you're literally in a city, but this is like a paradise. I would love to know 3 things about this space that are just like your heart, that mean everything to you.
Well, let's start with the deck. My wife spends a lot of time in the kitchen. She's great at entertaining. She makes wonderful things for people. So we wanted to have an entertaining space that you could look out and enjoy. And I wanted it to be in an area that felt like it was up in a tree, sort of a tree house. So we created this tree so that, we trimmed and lifted it up so that it would feel that way. So you could look down, so that she could look out the window or people eating there and see all of this, as well as the water feature and everything out in the garden. One of my favorite things is our water feature. We created it because I wanted to have it feel like it was water coming right out of the ground, going down into a pond. I wanted to be able to have dragonflies and our native Oregon chorus frogs there. I wanted it to be really natural looking.
And Phil, I see a bunch of little brightly colored plastic balls. Is that decor? Is that design?
That was designed because our grandchildren, we have 5 of them, they like to throw rocks. And I did not want them to throw the rocks in the water feature. So I thought, let's put an urn out here with brightly colored balls, and they can throw those in there, and then they can retrieve them with a little net. So that's been something fun that they could do, and it adds color to the garden.
I've noticed that in this garden too, several of the trees almost feel like South African trees. They're like really limbed up high. You've done that for a reason, haven't you?
Yes, I wanted to be able to show the tree structure off like this Magnolia stellata over here. I wanted the palm trees, which I started from seed, to be shown off too, and the clerodendron and the dove tree and the crepe myrtle tree out in front is the same way, so that you see the trunk structure and the bark as well, because those all are a part of what makes a tree really look special.
Yeah, it's true. Now, I also noticed another one of your favorite things are the pink flamingos, and that's in honor of someone that both of us have great respect for.
Well, Barb and I both love Dulcie Mayhar's articles in the Oregonian, and they were so funny And we went to see her place one time, and we were really touched by all the things that she had. And after she passed away, we thought, we should do something in our garden that would be in memory of her. So we put in the pink flamingos because they were very iconic with her.
And tell me about another plant that you just get a little weepy over, that is just your passion. I know, it's so hard to bring one, isn't it? But
there's so many of them.
It's okay to lie, because you love them all. So tell me one that you think is just
well, maybe
really
we
special.
should pick one that's blooming now, so that otherwise people would look at it and say, what is that? Well, I think the Nymphophea thompsoni snowdenny, which is over there, it's a beautiful orange and yellow, and it picks up a lot of the colors. We use a lot of pinks and oranges in here, and it tends to pick up those colors and tie them in with the yellows and the blues.
And that's really, I think, what designers do. They see things that we who are just passionate about plants miss, not because we can't see it, but it's not our process. You take colors and textures and forms and put them together like tapestry, do you not?
Yes, that's what I feel like our job is to do.
Yeah.
The challenge is helping people to see what something would be in 12, 13 years, because creating a garden like this cannot be done overnight. No amount of money will force it to happen. A plant has its own life cycle and own time that it takes to get to the size that we want, and we have to think about that ahead of time. Thus is the reason why we're landscape designers. I always say paper first, backhoe second. And I think most people understand that.
It's true.
We've had to do a little bit of marriage counseling, helping people through that kind of process.
Well, now, on this tour, tell me a little bit about this tour quickly, and what people can expect on it.
Well, this is the 11th year that we've had the ANLD Garden Tour. And each year it seems to get a little better, a little higher quality. We did it because we wanted to show off the gifts and talents and abilities of our designers that are part of our association. And that has been the main goal, but the second goal has been to be able to raise funds for scholarships, as well as our association. And so we have 2 scholarships for people in the field at PCC and 2 in Clackamas Community College.
And where can people get more information on this, Phil?
Well, you go to ANLD.org and you can purchase tickets or just look up a designer.
Yeah, wonderful. So there you have it. Let me tell you, it is worth the time and to go out and see these gardens. You can go to gardentime.tv. We will click you over to the website, get all the information, and just be prepared to have your socks blown off, because these gardens are going to definitely do that. Phil, it's been a delight. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you. Really appreciate it.